Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. This is Optibotimus coming to you with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a closer look at the new Hot Toys 1/6 scale movie masterpiece of Disney's Maleficent. And as you can see for the package, really cool and definitely gives that kind of Maleficent vibe to it. You can see a really nice silver foil text here, both highlighting Disney and the title Maleficent. And then in the background here, you can see surrounded by all sorts of various thorny vines, you can see a shadow outline of Maleficent herself, which looks terrific. Come around here to the side and you have the title as well as the Raven, which we'll touch on here in a little bit. And then both on that side as well as that side, instead of going with the silver foil look, they actually have a colored version of Disney and then Maleficent, which looks really very sharp. I dig that. Come around here to the back of it, and then that same thorny kind of vibe continues down here on the bottom and across the top, and then a really cool image of Angelina Jolie as Maleficent, and then you can see that her actual horns on top of her head are made up of the dragon that is in the film itself, and it looks really cool. I love how they did that. It is just a slip box, shoebox design that you go like that, wiggle a little bit, and then as always you have the extra insert here with the cast and crew responsible for making it, and then you can remove that, and you're left with the clamshell that houses the figure within. Really cool package, very simple, but I dig it. I think the design is really nice on this. And like I said, just captures that kind of magical, evil essence almost of Maleficent herself. So that's about it for the packaging. So without further ado, let's get her open and see how cool she actually is. Alright guys, so here we have Maleficent opened up and out of her packaging, and I'm really very impressed with the job that Hot Toys has done here. It's not perfect, but it is really very good. Now starting off with their accessories first, there really isn't a lot, and honestly I think that might be the biggest downfall of this figure, but zooming in to take a look at those, this is basically all that you get. In addition to a kind of relaxed right hand, as well as a left hand that is designed to grip her staff, she comes with 5 extra hands, both a right and left hand that are just open palm that are more designed to be used with these magic effects, but you can see that all of her right hands do in fact have her ring on there, which is absolutely terrific. She has a both right and left kind of claw looking hand, or maybe like the spell casting or something like that. That's what I'm going to call it. They're like spell casting hands. And then again, the right hand does have her ring on it. I knocked down the bird, and I'm knocking everything down, and just did over there. And then she does come with one left hand that is just a pointing hand. Now one thing that's really neat is they did a really great job on all these hands of including some actual fingernail paint. I mean, that looks really quite impressive. I dig that. It is kind of weird when you look on the bottom because it's all red underneath there, and I don't know why it would be red. I mean, if anything, it would be a darker color on the opposite side as opposed to there, but I mean, that's really creepy, and all of them do have that with the red fingernail underneath there. It's ugly, it's scary, it's creepy. I don't know quite how to make that out, but it's just kind of weird. Now, she also does include a pair of smaller size wrist pegs that are just extra in case anything happens to the two that come attached to the figure, so you do have those. Now, well, starting off with her staff here, you can see gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous staff. Very long. You can see that it has a really nice wood finish on there. Coming in here so you can actually see it, and moving her out of the way because the camera kept wanting to focus on her, but you can see really nice detail all the way throughout it, even here at the actual tip where it has a very cool glass, multicolor look to it. I really dig that. I absolutely love it. Now, the neat thing is you can actually remove this little piece right here, take this, and it does slot in here in a specific way, and it has a clear bit right there that I'll put my hand behind it so you can see it, and that is designed to go with her companion in the film, Diaval. Now, this is just a standard bird, nothing spectacular or anything with it, but you do have a hole down underneath there that you can wedge this right underneath and get that kind of look going where he looks like he's actually perched on it. And I'll show this off here in a little bit, but I absolutely love the fact that they included this. One thing that's really neat, in case you guys don't know, I'm a huge Disney fan. Disney is one of my favorite properties. I am a big admirer of Walt Disney himself, and Maleficent here is a new telling of the Sleeping Beauty story. And in that, Maleficent did have a pet raven that was kind of her right-hand man, What's hilarious though is in that cartoon, the raven's name was Diablo, which is Spanish for devil. And what's hilarious is in the new Maleficent movie, they changed the name from Diablo to Diavel, which Diavel is very similarly said to devil. It's just one of those kind of quirky things that Disney does. I mean, Maleficent, the name itself, is a very strange movie. I mean, well, the name, I should say, is a very strange name because it is a kind of negative sort of sounding name. The prefix mal, which can be used in malpractice, malcontent, a lot of words that have a negative connotation start with mal. It's, I think, Latin or something like that. So Maleficent is like the opposite of magnificent. Instead of good, it's evil. And it's interesting because the new Maleficent movie really kind of does a different thing with the actual character, and instead of making her evil, basically makes her misunderstood. And it's an interesting story, and I really did like it, despite being a huge Disney fan. A lot of people don't like it because it changes a lot of things of that core Sleeping Beauty story, but I think it works very nicely. Now, like I said, you can plug this right up in there, creating a little bit of an illusion there where he's holding onto the top. And then, like I said, you do have this left hand that is designed to hold the staff. You just bring that all the way down, and now you have that. And I mean, that is really quite spectacular looking. I absolutely love it. I think it is a wonderful touch. It was something that was absolutely needed to be included in this set, and I'm glad that they did. Now, getting this out of the way for right now, the other thing that, a couple other things, she does come with a, this is going to be very tough. I'll have one thing to say before I get into it. She's not easy to stand, that's for sure. So I'm just going to set her down for right now. She does come with an adjustable display stand. You can see Maleficent right there, as well as her actual nameplate. You've got the adjustable cradle. This is a case where you are absolutely going to need this. It's a great figure. And when you come around here, and I'm going to lift up her little dress right here, the detail on her boots, you can see she's wearing heels, but these are absolutely wicked, evil, cool looking things. I mean, you can see some like blades right along the side here. You got what almost look like bone here in the back, but as you can see, they are heels. So it's going to be a very difficult way to get her to stand. And my camera's going crazy again, so sorry about that. But I mean, they're cool looking, I love them, but it is definitely going to be tricky to get her to stand without the actual display stand helping her. Now, you can do it. Like I said, it just takes a little bit of finesse to be able to actually pull something like that off. Maybe even a little bit more difficult for me because, as I mentioned many times, my review surface is actually curved here, so it gives it a little bit harder of a time to stand. Now, these little bits right here, I'll touch on here in a little bit. They are both specifically designed for a particular hand. Like I mentioned before, you do have hands that are like this. This is her right hand, and it even says here on the bottom, if I can find it, where is it at? Does it? Where's it at? Oh yeah, that's there is a little R, and this one has a little L. So you basically will take this, take that off, and you can, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it, but there's actually grooves right along there that fit with her hand. So you just take that, put that there like so, and then bring this back down. And actually, I'm putting this on her. This is her left hand. It's silly me. So this is a little bit trickier because you got the little ring. So you just pull that away, kind of wedge this between her hand. It's tricky to do, honestly, to get this with her thumb right there, because you have to put it underneath and then peg that in. There we go. And there you have the actual, I don't even know what you call this, just a magic effect. It doesn't look bad when it's like this. I think it looks pretty cool. The problem, though, is when you come to the bottom, it literally looks like it's just some kind of a handle. Now, they did a pretty good job of making it kind of wrap around and coming up here look like it's part of the flame bits, but I really wish that they did more of it so it wouldn't just look like some kind of a strap being held on there. That's kind of unfortunate. I love the effect. I think it's really wicked cool. And if you're holding her hand like this, and I'll put this on here so you can see that full effect, but that looks fine when you keep it angled like that. You just, I mean, you see that and you gotta hide it. So it's almost like you have to do it like that to get a weird angle, but it looks the best when you have it like that. But unfortunately, this makes it look ugly. This one, exact same thing, it just attaches to the left hand, but one other accessory piece that she comes with is a longer train for her gown. Now, this is a bit of a delicate piece right here. I mean, you can see through it. This is very, very sheer. Even the actual outfit itself, I mean, it is very sheer on her. So you do want to be very, very careful with this. It's a very fragile piece in terms of the fabric. You do want to be careful with it. Now, this has a lot of different buttons on here. She had a couple different looks. She just had this where she would walk around, but I think for display purposes, this is going to look the absolute best. Now, you got 3 buttons that go down the center, and then you got a total of 3 more going down the right and left side that you button all these on there, and it's actually kind of tough to do. And when you take it off, it really feels like you're going to damage the fabric. So if you do decide to attach this, don't be putting it on and taking it off a lot of different times, because it could damage it. The best way that I found is you just push this in, give that a nice little push. It's really difficult to do because the padding underneath is kind of rubbery, so you almost kind of, when you do detach it, I really do recommend taking something like a nail and putting it in between the 2 halves and pulling it apart that way. Don't take one piece of the fabric and the other and pull like this, because you will damage the fabric around it. So you want to make sure you put something in there like a fingernail, wedge it in, then pop it out. That's probably the easiest way and best way to not damage this. It's just something I'm concerned about. You do have to be fragile because the material is very, very delicate, I guess. So I got the middle ones done, and then you come around here to the sides, and again, so getting that all situated. When you're done, you're left with a really cool looking display piece. And a lot of these actual robes have wire frames throughout them along the side. You can kind of bring it back around and do whatever you want, but the outer side here has a wire frame. You got a wire frame right on the next section, and then it wraps around and it continues on to the other side. These little bits right here, when you bring these down, this is all soft, but right up here, you also got a bit of a wire frame, so you can pose that a little bit. And then down here at the bottom, actually around the bottom section here of the dress, also has a bit of a wire. So again, a lot of really cool display options with this, and it's very, very simple. I really do dig it. Now, earlier I mentioned that I absolutely love this figure, but there are a few flaws with it. The first being, when you take a look at the actual head sculpt, well, it unmistakably is Angelina Jolie. I think they could have done a better job in terms of defining some of the lines here. It's there. You can see the sculpt, but unless you get the right lighting, I mean something like that, where you kind of shade that, it doesn't necessarily have the right proper look, and my lights are really going to blow this out, and it's going to be harder to see, but it's like, I mean, I'm just using my hands here to kind of shade her a little bit, but I do almost wish that there was a little bit more paint on here, giving a little bit more definition to these very high cheekbones. The other thing that I don't particularly like is the actual horns. While they look terrific, and you can see some great detail on there, they should be spread out a little bit more. Now, you can do it by just taking them and spreading them out like that. They were more like that. That's just a little nitpick on my part, but I think it takes away from the overall accuracy of the piece, I think, but really very nice. Now, I talked about wires, and I actually forgot to mention these pieces right up here also have little wires in them, so you can position these however you really want. I just really like that look. Now, for the body of the figure, as I mentioned in my promotional video, as a female body, she actually stands a little bit shorter than the typical male bucks. So she's about 11 inches or so tall. And for articulation, she features over 28 points, including a really nice head joint here. You got the nice ball joint right up at the top section, and then it does flex right down here at the actual neck, so you can get almost any possible look that you would want with this. The shoulders move in and out. It is going to be limited because this is all attached, so you do have to be careful with that. It moves forward and back, has a double, the elbow joint also rotates at the upper part of the bicep. The wrists do move forward, back, they move in and out. Standard articulation there. Come down here to the torso though. I think this is where it's kind of lacking some of it. She has an ab crunch, but it's all under this rubber, so it's a little bit more limited in terms of that, and I don't 100% 100% know if she actually has a hip joint down there. It's kind of hard to tell, or she's missing something. But the legs move forward and back, but again, because this long dress is on there, you're not going to get a full range of motion with it. Moves in and out, but only as far as this actual opening. She bends here at 2 points here at the knee, but again, if you want to get her to bend all the way, you got to bend both the legs. So you do have 2 joints there at the knee. She rotates at the ankle. She moves forward and back. Coming up here, you can see some really nice boots like I talked about before, and they go all the way up to her actual knee, but you can see that they're fairly soft, so you can get that nice flexibility here in the ankle to move it forward and back. So really pretty standard articulation on the body. It can pretty much do any pose that you would really want, and honestly, it's a very simple pose sort of figure for me. I'm not going to be very overly dramatic with the poses because Maleficent doesn't really require that much. I mean, just the actual look of the figure is dramatic enough. Now, overall, this is really a fairly niche kind of figure. I don't really foresee a lot of collectors clamoring over getting this, but for me, who's a big Disney fan, I absolutely love this. And despite my personal opinions on how the Maleficent movie was and how it was fairly dramatically changed from the original story that we grew up with in terms of Sleeping Beauty, as soon as I saw Angelina Jolie as the character, it's almost as if Angelina Jolie was born to play that character. So having her in figure form really is a treat for me. As I said, there are some issues that I do have with it. While I love the magic effect that she comes with, I think it's implemented a little weak in terms of how it attaches to the hands. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more paint detail in the cheek area just to kind of accentuate those high cheekbones and that kind of angular look that her face had. And then the horns, I'd be happier if they're a little bit more spread apart, but that's probably something that I could fix if I wanted to, I guess, take the time to figure out how to permanently get it spread out like that. But all in all, though, I think it's really good and well worth picking up if you were a fan of the film, or maybe even just a fan of the character Maleficent as we grew up with. And that's really how I look at this. So without question, if this is a figure that you're interested in, I would absolutely pick it up. So if that's you and you are interested in getting it, all you have to do is click on the link down in the video description. You go to Sideshow Collectibles where you can pick this up and add it to your collection today. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Don't forget that you can keep in touch with me by liking my Facebook page at facebook.com/SteamBotimus and by following me over on Twitter at twitter.com/Optibotimus. Also, I'd encourage you to check out my new website at optibotimusreviews.com, where you can see all my videos from the previous week, see what I have coming up for future release, and also get your very own Optibotimus t-shirt. And finally, I'd also really appreciate it, guys, that if you like this review, don't forget to please like, comment, and share this video. And if you'd like to get instant notifications whenever a new video goes up, don't forget to please click that subscribe button. And until next time, I'll talk to you later.
But if I know you, I know what you'll do.